one or two recommendations or points that can have improvement, and again one or two good points. Why is it important to start well and end well and have wasabi only in the center?
Make them feel good.
Make them feel good.
In our club, we also call CRC.
CRC. And CRC stands for condemnation, reprimanding, and criticizing.
Or commendation.
Is it? No. It's commendation, recommendation, and commendation. Okay, condemn, reprimand, criticize doesn't work. Okay? What works is comment, recommend, and comment. CRC. Okay, so you start well because the speaker loves that, and audience also likes to start on a good note. Then you say, by the way, these are 2 points where you could have improved and how the speaker could have improved. And again, always end on a high note. So in summary, or just before summary, you also talk about, I like this part of your speech the most, and talk of good things. Okay? So when you give evaluation like that, first of all, it is acceptable to the speaker, to the audience, and it also helps the speaker improve. And the speaker may really have 20 points to improve, but he is not going to improve those in one meeting. Correct? So step by step, he will try to change those things, and the audience would also notice that in the second speech he had done like this, the evaluator had given this feedback, and the third speech he has improved some of those, and the fourth speech he has improved some of those. Now, which are the points on which you can give feedback? So you can give feedback on speech structure. You can have a note, by the way, you can even in evaluation. Have you seen evaluation contest? Have you had that in your club yet? Okay, in evaluation contest, a target speaker gives a speech of 5 to 7 minutes. Let's say she is your target speaker. So Chin will give a speech of 5 to 7 minutes. All the contestants will be given 5 minutes to write their notes. Afterwards, their papers are taken by the sergeant at arms and they are laid out of the room. And they come in one by one, their papers are handed to them, and they give speech evaluation of 2 to 3 minutes. And the judges judge the contestants on that 2 to 3 minutes evaluation. Okay? So you can carry a piece of paper where you have pre-written some of the points so that you don't forget. So structure, body language, voice modulation, language of your speech, grammar, whatever you can think of, topic selection, confidence, logical flow of ideas, and so on. So you can write various points like that, use them actually in the speech contest, and when you are giving feedback, or rather when you are preparing your notes, you can write plus minus and you can write points here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and you can select, let's say you select these 3 points for the good part and these 2 points for the not so good part, and again 1 point which I like the most in the end. That would sum up 2 to 3 minutes of your speech evaluation. Okay? And however bad the speech was, suppose somebody comes up here and gives a terrible speech, how can you praise him despite that?
There's always something good to say about it.
There's always something good, but one thing is the fact that you came up in front and stood in front of crowd and gave a speech was wonderful. I applaud your courage for standing up here despite not being ready. Okay. And supposing somebody has really a big challenge in speaking and he may not, she may not improve in the next 5 years, and you know it's a hopeless case. How to motivate even such a speaker? You can say your spirit of speaking exceeds your ability of speaking. Okay. Your attitude of learning is tremendous. It exceeds your current ability of speaking. I'm sure with this right attitude, you can improve your current ability to such a level that you will become a fabulous orator. So it was a terrible speech, yet you start on a very positive note. The speaker feels good to hear these words, right? In other words, I'm saying it was a bad speech, but I'm putting it in such words that the speaker likes to listen to that, and you are also doing your job of giving feedback to the speaker, correct? One more important thing is, sometimes, especially in this part of recommendations, you have to tell the speaker what he needs to listen and not what he likes to listen. Quite often, the evaluators give goody-goody evaluation where they talk about all good parts of the speech and say fantastic speech, fantastic opening, fantastic conclusion, fantastic body language, fabulous word selection, but they dare not talk about something which was missing. For example, vocal variety or eye contact. And it might be very important factors. So you have a duty to tell the speaker what he needs to listen rather than just what he likes to listen. And that goes in your recommendations. Okay? So you'll be failing in your duty if you don't give any suggestions for improvement. There are some speeches which are so good that there is really no scope for improvement. It can be. Because the speakers have reviewed it by, like World Championship speeches, especially the semi-final speeches are really good. Because they have rehearsed it 20 times, it has been already evaluated by hundreds of people. Even there you can find something. For example, the speech might be context specific and you can say it did not apply to international audience. And I, being from India, had a challenge in understanding this particular part of the speech. Something like that. Okay? So I'm sure every speech can have pluses and every speech can have some minuses. If you ask the same speaker who won World Championship on how could he have improved that speech, he would say, yes, I could have improved on these 2 points. Are you getting the idea? Okay? So this is how I would evaluate a contest speech, and it is not enough to say your voice modulation was missing. Let's say the voice modulation was missing. You can say how it can be improved. For example, there are 3 types of voices. One is a baritone voice, where the voice comes from here. The other is a shrill voice, which is like this. And in center is a normal voice. So you could have adopted 3 characters in your speech, which had 3 different voices, and then spoken in their language, so that it would have been easier for audience to understand that these 3 are separate characters. Or you could have added variety of speed. Sometimes you could have spoken fast and sometimes you could have slowed down. Sometimes you could have raised your voice and sometimes you could have brought it down. So in your evaluation you are showing how it can be done, and it is not enough just to say that your vocal variety needs to be improved. You actually show how he or she could have done that, and where in particular in the speech would that speaker have implemented that. If you are able to do these few things, you will be a fabulous evaluator. Just remember the first principle, the cardinal principle, is to bring back the speaker to the next meeting. Okay? Let's move to the next topic, which is how to construct a speech for a speech contest.
Question. Yeah,
Okay, any questions on evaluation before we move ahead?
Yeah, for evaluation. Yeah, I agree that we should say the good point.
Sorry?
I agree that we should say the good point for the speakers first, from the bad point or the
Don't say bad, say not so good points.
improvement point.
Yeah.
Okay, but if we just say for example, if your voice or your vocal variety is so flawless or so outstanding, it's really hard for the speaker to understand what their strength. So how we can convey the message that we really see that the speaker is really good at that.
So you can say it was fabulous. That's perfectly fine.
But it's really hard for them to recognize that's their strength. If we just say that your vocal variety, for example, is really outstanding. If we just say that it's meaningless for the speakers. But I mean that how we can convey the message.
Okay, so you can say your vocal variety was something which was outstanding. I particularly like the way you had 3 characters in your speech who spoke in baritone, shrill and normal voice. Plus, I saw a speed variation and pitch variation in your speech, and therefore I felt it was awesome implementation of vocal variety in your speech. So instead of just saying it was great, you can add a few sentences to that so that the speaker gets correct ideas that you are listening to the speech and audience understands that, and you don't stop in 5 seconds saying vocal variety was great. Does it answer your question?
Like you give example how it was good. How you
No,
like
what was
it.
was your question this that I answered, or was it something else?
Yeah, that's my question.
Okay, so is your question answered?
I think it's better if you give me an example.
So I gave just now.
Okay, I will ask you after the meeting.
No, please feel free to ask, because this might be in the minds of others as well.
I think layman question is about when you say fabulous, it's too general, doesn't have the specific detail to the vocal variety. Instead, we can say that is it fabulous because you raise your voice in some,
Correct,
you lower
correct.
down in some. So
Yeah.
instead of just saying fabulous, you can say fabulous and then explain why it is you think it's fabulous.
And which were parts of your vocal variety which I saw implemented, and praise those. And if there is some area where even improvement is possible, even in vocal variety, mention that also. Okay. Does it answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. So, any doubts on evaluation? Okay, remember that this is an ongoing process. You will keep evaluating speeches, you will keep learning. But remember one more thing, an evaluation is also a speech. So you should have a good opening, good conclusion, and good body in between. Yes, Chin.
I joined some of the what is it called?
Advanced club.
No, speech evaluation contest before, and you know the target speaker we choose often really good speaker. And one time I was a contestant in that contest, and I could not find any mistake or anything that he can improve. So in that case, how could you make up or?
So if you have
Some point.
a ready sheet like this, you can think of something somewhere, okay? Connection with the audience of the topic, use of stage. Now each of these points will have body language, will have facial expressions, hand gestures, use of stage will go there.
For example, you are the speaker now, and if I ask some people here to give some point that you can improve on, let's see if anyone can. Because sometimes you meet really great speaker that you cannot find any of their point to be improved.
Maybe
But you should
maybe
do
the speaker
something.
wasn't well prepared, maybe the speaker was running out of time.
Oh,
You don't know. Okay, so I'm sure every speech has some, maybe the attire wasn't that good. And you can comment on that. I felt that for this particular speech, you should have worn a suit or maybe a Vietnamese traditional dress or whatever it was. And you can say that way also. I'm sure every speech has some area of improvement.
Yeah.
And normally for a contest, they select a speaker who has not completed CC yet. Okay, and that person is also asked to make 1 or 2 mistakes. Sometimes the speaker forgets some lines, sometimes the speed is broken, the flow is broken. Sometimes the speech is about something and the speech is fabulous, but the speaker doesn't follow and is not congruent to the speech. And you can find out something like that.
It is necessary to figure out the speaker mistakes,
Is it necessary to?
find out the mistake of the speaker.
Ideally, yes, because you have to you have to take the speaker to the next level. So sometimes it may not be mistake. It can be just that the speaker is at this level and how can he go to this level? And you can say to take this to the higher level, I would recommend these few things. Okay?
And to answer your question, is always nobody is perfect, because even if like Rich, he's a very good inspirational speaker, but he lack of humor or something like that. You can say that.
Yeah, humor is
you
one thing you
are
can
an
comment on.
excellent inspirational speaker, and you have done excellent inspirational speech for many times. I would like to hear from you that you will do a humorous speech
Fabulous,
Something like
correct. Yeah, yeah.
And he's wearing socks with sandals.
Oh yeah, you can know about
They're dress sandals. Are they?
Okay. So did you get the idea?
Yeah.
Okay, it would be good if you watch some evaluation contests on YouTube. Watch some table topics contests on YouTube so that you get more ideas. Now let's move to the last topic, which is how to construct a speech for a contest. How many of you have participated in what is known as international speech contest? You have. Okay. And I believe you have a contest coming up this Saturday in your club. That is ISC, International Speech Contest, right?
Yes.
It is within your club and
Inter-club contest.
inter-club contest. Okay, great. And you are not part of a district yet. So you will participate here and stay here.
Yes.
Okay, if you were to join a district later on, the champions of club will go to area level, champions of area goes to the division level, champions of division goes to the district level. And that would be good for you to get that kind of exposure. Okay, so in future think of this for that, and you will get a lot of support from various district officers who will visit you and support you. For that, you will have to join a district, and maybe there is a cost for it. Of course, you currently pay $4.5 per month,
Yes.
or $27 for every 6 months. So that fee becomes $6 a month. And the $1.5 extra that you pay comes back to the district to support all the clubs in the district.
Yeah.
Okay, so the district gets money for travel, for conferences, for administration work, training, and so on. And what you pay extra actually comes back to you indirectly. Okay. But until that happens, let's focus on contests which are relevant to you. There are two contests. One is your club level contest, second is your inter-club contest between you and the other club in Saigon, and third is you can even have nationwide contest where you invite the club from Hanoi for that. Okay, but there can be something else which is internationally run, known as a taped speech contest. Do you know of this?
Yeah.
Have you participated in this?
No.
Not yet.
That's speech contest.
Okay, this is known as a taped speech contest, where you give a speech of 5 to 7 minutes on an audio tape and send it to world headquarters, and there are similar tapes collected from all over the world which are non-districted clubs such as yours, and then they select a winner. So all you have to do is give a speech of 5 to 7 minutes and send. If you are interested, I can send you more information, and I can link you up to the person who can give you more information. Okay?
That's good.
So why don't you try? Why not one of you give a speech of 5 to 7 minutes and send it for that?
Yeah.
What will it cost you is just the cost of a CD and shipping charges. That's it. Why not? Try doing this year. Okay, so in a speech contest, the judges' ballot has 3 sections. One is content, content, delivery, and language. And content have 50 marks, delivery has 30, while language has 20. Okay. An elephant is walking from this side to this side. On the back of an elephant, there is an ant which is going from this direction to this direction. In which direction is the ant moving?
That.
Still moving in that direction. Why? Because the elephant is moving in this direction, correct? So here elephant or its speed or its size is important. In the same way, in a speech contest, a speech that has good content is always or should always be considered as a good speech over something which has no content but has fabulous delivery or fabulous language. Unfortunately, all over the world, the judging is not yet perfect, and the judges tend to get carried away with someone who has a fabulous delivery fabulous language but has trash content. You can give a speech without any content, without any message, with flawless delivery, with lot of rehearsal, with excellent language. But that can score only 30 and 20 points. To score these points, which are the highest amongst these three, you need to have good content in your speech. And typically, how good can you write a speech? How well can you write a speech? How can the contents have some message is what we are going to see shortly. One thing is you can have a speech with this structure, which is mentioned in your manual in speech number 2, I think.
Organization.
Organize the speech. Opening, body and conclusion. In the body you will have 3 points with point, reason, example. Point, reason, example. Point, reason, example. And these should be linked smoothly to each other. So the opening is linked to the body smoothly, the body is linked to the conclusion smoothly. So this is an ideal speech structure because for a 5 to 7 minute speech, the audience should have simplicity in understanding your speech. If it becomes complicated, the audience will not understand, the judges will not understand. So structure has also got points here in content. Okay? So if you have a simple structure, the simpler the better. And audience does not remember too many points in a 7 minute speech. So try not to have more than 3 points. Even 2 are okay if you don't get 3 points. But have a simple structure. Okay? Now how to find message for a speech? Because your speech should have a message which can be inspirational or persuasive or motivational for audience. So there is a message in everyday life that you live. There might be some story which happened to you and there can be a moral drawn from that. Okay? So how many of you feel that there is no story in my life, there is no message? Everybody's life has some stories. Okay, how many of you feel today there was a story in your life which has some morals? Yes, today there was a story. Today there was a story which has some morals, correct? So every day you encounter many stories in your life which has a message, which has a moral. And that is what makes a good speech out of that. So let's play a short game now. You form teams of 3 people here, or 4, okay, we have 4 here anyway. You have 4 here, you have 4 here. So 2 of you go join with 2 of you and the other can be 1 group there. Okay? Just form groups of 4 persons. In each group, write down a story that happened in your life with a message. So please write down in brief a story and a message. Please take your paper and pen and write down. Or think of.
Just one story.
One story in your life, each one.
For each of us.
I mean, each of us or one story per group.
For a group.
No, each one will write separately. And when I say it's time, then you tell it to each other. But for the time being, for the first minute or so, write down your story. Where's my phone one?
How long should the story be?
You have to write down within half minute or so. Can you take picture when I'm speaking? Or she will take, you understood what should be done.
We use this to record
We use it to recording the
Do you
speech.
have a smartphone?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a smartphone?
Okay, fine.
You have a phone? Okay, please call the people to do it. Later we ask.
So just tell in brief what happened and what you learned from that and what others can learn from that.
No, we need to record. Recording for all the members.
If you don't have paper, please borrow from someone or think in your mind. The story has to have a message. You have to derive some conclusion from that. And it can be simple conclusion, yet it can be very effective for some others. Okay, time's up. Now what you have to do is you have to tell your story in your group within half a minute. Just tell what happened and what is the lesson that you drew. Half minute each. Okay? Are you already in the group?